Hi, my name is Amira Zulaikha, binti Roslan.
Hi, I am Amirah Balqis.
Hi, my name is Nurul Aqilah.
Hi, I am Nurul Husna binti Azarudin.
We
We
are
from
the
the
Formation.
Formation. Hi, welcome to Azlan Tech Organic Produce, ATOP for farming, innovation, and online business. 30 years old Azlan had a 10-acre agricultural land that he inherited from his late father located in Kuala Selangor. Azlan wanted to develop the land, however, it is difficult since he had no capital. He received 300,000 ringgit Malaysia from voluntary separation scheme as he left his 10-year tenure with the bank as an assistant branch manager. Azlan discovered the simple method and easy maintenance in the Japanese technology in producing organic and quality vegetables. Hence, he decided to venture into a highly technology-driven business, Azlan Tech Organic Produce, ATOP. Then, he opened an organic wholesale and retail supermarket in Klang. As the sales of the business arose, they entered into online platform by using Foodpanda for the delivery purpose. After a couple of weeks of testing online platform, they decided to diversify into fresh juices, fresh salads, as well as sandwiches and compete with foreign brands as ATOP Sandway. First outlet was opened in a shopping mall and has been expanded to several more outlets at a local university and other locations. As a way to pay back the community, they decided to do a charity home food operations. 10 years after operations, Azlan decided to enlist ATOP in Bursa Malaysia and entered into Japanese market by exporting harum manis with the collaboration of business wing of the International Trade Department BWIT. As Azlan's first intention to do the business is to grow best quality of durian, he then take over Tasnim orchard and do cross-pollinated technique to produce a variety of high-quality durians.
So, in this ATOP case study, the main issue that we want to point out is whether ATOP could stay sustained in the industry.
The first sub-issue that our group had discovered is the cash flow of ATOP is running thin after 2 years of starting the operations with the Japanese technology. What ATOP had done is they took a loan from a local bank owned by the Ministry of Finance and promised to pay it back in a special financing agreement. There are two solutions our group had discovered. The first solution is we recommend ATOP to accept the grant offered by the local bank, even though it is just a one-time funding. This is because it is better for the company to use the provided funding by the bank to start the operation and use the income gained from the operation just now to roll back the capital rather than just receiving which they borrow the money from the bank. Second solution is ATOP can launch a crowdfunding campaign to raise capital. Crowdfunding is the practice of funding a project or venture by raising small amounts of money from a large number of people via the internet. With the use of this crowdfunding platform, ATOP can also increase their capital. In conclusion, the best option or solution for this issue is the first solution, which it is better for ATOP to take the grant offered by the local bank.
The second issue that we have identified is that whether a top sandwich can compete with foreign brands or not. This issue arises when Azlan decided to diversify its business into fresh juices, fresh salads, as well as sandwiches. In our opinion, a top sandwich are able to compete with the foreign brands as most of their ingredients to produce the sandwich can be obtained within the company. The cost of producing the sandwich will be low as they can use their own raw materials. As a result, ATOP Sandwich can provide reasonable price and good quality of sandwich to their customers compared to foreign brands. Azlan has opened the first outlet in a shopping mall in ICT Shah Alam. He also has opened another outlet in a local university in Shah Alam, then Puncak Alam, Sandwich, and several other locations. Looking at the location of the outlet, the target market of ATOP Sandwich is focusing more on students. The students at the university do not have many options in choosing store to buy the sandwich. If they want to buy sandwiches from foreign brand, they need to go outside of the university to purchase it, as foreign brand outlets are rarely open in universities. With availability of a top sandwich outlet in university, students can satisfy their cravings, which will result in increase of income for a top sandwich. In conclusion, with the benefit that ATOP had, they are able to compete with the foreign brands as a top sandwich.
The issue is whether ATOP should receive the funding from Agri-Industry Bank, or known as AI Bank, in order to take over a warehouse in Japan. As there were warehouse offer in Japan by Meiji former partner, which has below the market offer price was too good to miss, and the demand also was no problem. However, upfront investment to cover up losses and to settle debt to supplier was not possible for the warehouse owner. So in order for ATOP to take over the warehouse, they need to bear with the large loans. As for their solutions, they decided to receive fund that has been approved by the AI Bank with the collaborations of the business wing of International Trade Department BUIT at a ratio 70-30. In this situation, we can see there are two ways to solve this problem. It is either ATOP to receive the funding from the AI Bank to take over the warehouse in Japan, or to wait for his company to be listed in the Bursa Malaysia. If ATOP proceed with the funding from AI Bank, they can expand their business to the global market easily, as AI Bank will facilitate and collaborated with the International Trade Department, which provide incentive for this kind of business venture. This funding will help ATOP to resolve the financial problems of Doraemon. Hence, ATOP can proceed with the new business venture and generate income faster as they already have the funding. So in other situation, we also can suggest ATOP to wait for his company to be listed in the Bursa Malaysia, since Azlan is currently in the process of preparing the pre-listing of necessities. By listing his company, they will be able to access the capital market for funds to accomplish ATOP's expansion objective and ambitions. ATOP also can avoid to receive more burdens of huge loan in the future, as they currently already have few loans for their existing operations. Even though this process will take time for ATOP to collaborate with BUIT, as they need to go through additional steps, as originally the collaboration is being facilitated by the AI Bank. However, BUIT will more likely to accept ATOP's offer for these new collaborations, since ATOP already has a strong brand names and identity in Malaysia. Then, they can attract the public to buy the shares. Once listed, ATOP can use the fund from the investor to acquire the warehouse, as ATOP will collaborate with the International Trade Department and expanding their business internationally. There is a good chance that the public will buy their shares. In our opinion, it is better for ATOP to wait for the enlistment in the Bursa Malaysia and get funding from the public to take over the warehouse. Thus, the financial obligation will be reduced.
The fourth issue that we have identified is whether it is a good decision to export the harum manis to Japanese market or not. Referring to the case, the collaboration with the International Trade Department and takeover in Japan would bring Malaysian fruits to Japan. Harum manis was actually cultured in Perlis, and once in the past, it was developed for the Japanese market. In our opinion, it is good for ATOP to enter into Japanese market with harum manis, as it's open opportunities for the mango farmers in Malaysia, and they can also expand their branding internationally. By exporting the harum manis, ATOP can gain new customers, increase their brand awareness. This will result in an increase of income and profits for the ATOP. However, the exportation of harum manis to Japanese market might cost a lot of money to ATOP, as the transportation cost of the fruits may be high due to foreign exchange rate. Besides that, operating warehouse in Japan is quite costly as these subsidiaries are located in Japan. Japan is one of the countries in Asia with high tax rate. Engage in business in Japan without a physical presence but possessing warehousing and distributing goods in Japan is classified as having a permanent establishment in Japan. ATOP could be subjected to direct as well as indirect tax. This subsidiary obtain high profit, hence the tax that ATOP need to bear also will be high. However, although having high tax rate in operating warehouse in Japan, ATOP may qualify for an export incentive in terms of allowance for increased exports. This is because ATOP is a residence agricultural company that export the agricultural product which is harum manis. In conclusion, it is still reasonable for ATOP to export harum manis to Japanese market as it is a worth investment to be made. The process of exporting harum manis to Japan is facilitated by International Trade Department. Since Miji is a Japanese citizen, there will be no language barrier in arranging and managing the business.
I will be explaining on the 5th issues that we have discovered in this case. So the issue is whether ATOP can ever get out from owing the bank. Because after they have gone through the books of accounts and some documentation, the record show a big outstanding financial figure from AI Bank of at least 100,000 ringgit Malaysia for assets and working capital, where the interest was accumulating as the level of financing increased over the time due to diversification. Hence, Azlan was worried that the financial obligations were growing over the time and wondered if ATOP would ever get out from owing the bank. So his wife, Miji, suggests to capitalize their own funds and assets and go for a new business with minimal capital outlay to move away from increasing financings. This can be seen when Miji offered an online business owner, Amira, who need a base to expand her operations by locating her kiosk next to Sandway outlets. After a pilot test, Amira's sales increased in just over 6 months, and the commissions that Miji received from Amira could pay for some overheads at the franchise Sandway that they have in operation. So it is a win-win situation, and the outlook seems encouraging for them. In our opinion, other than capitalize their own funds and assets and go for a new business with minimal capital outlay, we suggest for Azlan to do assets restructuring. Asset restructuring is a cost that may occur during entire process of strategically writing off its assets. It could be implemented due to a variety of reasons, including targeting the organization to become more competitive, successfully survive and emerge stronger from existing hostile economic environment, or position the company to move towards an entirely new direction. Asset restructuring also involves a well-planned sale of intangible or tangible assets of the company for generating cash. ATOP could sell a portion of their unnecessary or non-profitable assets to any agreed upon third party. It could be considered a normal practice by several huge companies for selling off or divesting their less profitable or non-profitable assets to avoid any further pressure on its key resources. And by selling off their non-profitable asset, ATOP could generate cash that will help them to reduce the amount owed to the bank. However, asset restructuring is only a one-time event that happens strategically. Hence, even though it can help ATOP to reduce the amount owed to the bank, it is only for a short term. Apart from that, We also believe that ATOP could do some loan restructuring. Loan restructuring is a process used by companies, individuals, and even countries to avoid the risk of defaulting on their existing loans, such as by negotiating lower interest rate. ATOP need to know on how much is the interest rate levied on the loan that may be considering the restructuring option. What is the tenure of existing loan? How much is the cost of borrowing another loan to repay the current loan? This question will help ATOP to determine whether they should agree to loan restructuring or avoid it. Opting for a loan restructuring will stretch the loan tenure. It means ATOP's loan borrowing capacity will get squeezed to the extent of the extended tenure until ATOP clear the restructured loan. Hence, if the interest on the existing loan is higher than another loan product that ATOP can get from the bank, ATOP may option for a new loan instead of going for a loan restructuring. This will help ATOP to reduce their financial obligations towards the bank due to its low interest rate. Other than that, ATOP should increase the shareholders' fund as a way to get out from owing the bank. It can be done by increasing the paid-in capital. Paid-in capital is the money a company receives from investor in exchange for common and preferred stocks. Paid-in capital increases when a company issues new shares of common and preferred stocks, and when a company experiences paid-in capital in excess of par value. By issuing more new common and preference shares to the public, the shareholders' fund will increase, and ATOP will have enough assets to cover its liabilities. Hence, ATOP will eventually able to get out from owing the bank, as increasing in shareholders' fund will reduce their financial obligation over the time. Based on the opinion stated, we believe that ATOP will eventually able to get out from owing the bank, and it is better for ATOP to increase the shareholders' fund to reduce amount owed to the bank. This is because it will require less money being spent by ATOP as compared to other opinions. Based on the sub-issues mentioned before, it will lead to our main issues, which is whether ATOP could sustain in the industry. So in a nutshell, ATOP will be able to sustain in the industry since the diversification of its business help to reduce unsystematic risks. Such risks exist within an organization, but they are unexpected and can arise at any time, resulting in high volatility in instrument prices. The main source of risk is errors in judgment and management within a company. Other than that, diversification can also minimize risk of loss, where if one investment performs poorly over a certain period, other investment may perform better over the same periods. It will reduce the potential losses of the investment portfolio from concentrating all the capital under one type of investment. Next, it is also can generate returns, since sometimes investment doesn't always perform as expected. By diversifying, ATOP is not merely relying upon one source of income. Lastly, in order for ATOP to sustain in the industry, it is recommended for Azlan's children to continue their family business legacy. Since their kids have their own expertise and prefer to stay in Japan, working with ATOP Buit in Nagoya, Japan, they can gain experience on managing the business. After some years of working with Buit, they might interested in continuing ATOP legacy and expand their businesses.
So that's all from us. Thank you for listening.